Howdy, folks. Welcome to the Test Press. My name is Brylan May, and today we have a wonderful, wonderful guest. We have a pianist, songwriter, teacher, composer, master of many musical things.
Yeah.
We have Natalie Brice with us.
Yay.
Woo! As I said, she's a music educator, very talented pianist, and she wrote the music for White Rose, the musical, which is opening, I believe, next week.
Yeah, in London. Yeah.
Wow. That's got to feel crazy.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, because we had our New York show like not that long ago. So now it's like, here's the London show. So we're doing that. And
it's happening.
At the Marylebone. I don't know how you say that at all, really. I'm going to find out.
I don't know. Most of the British people's words are made up.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not real. So it's okay. I probably shouldn't say that when you're getting ready to do a theater run tour. We love the British people.
Yeah. No, they've been great so far that I've seen.
Yeah, so far that I've seen. Yeah. Besides that one stint in like the 1700s and a little bit of the 1800s, they've been good. Yeah. And honestly, we probably would still be better off if it stayed a colony the way things have gone. Which, of course, that all ties into the musical, which we're gonna talk about later. But before we talk about all of that stuff, I want to ask you about some other kind of music that I was speaking to someone that you might know pretty well. His name is Noah.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. Noah, you might remember, viewers, is in Impulse Bangs, the bassist for Impulse Bangs. They're a couple. But I was talking to him, and he said that you were a total punk kid.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I mean, yeah. Like I'm from the Bay Area, so like,
okay.
All the punk scene there was like Gilman, and like there was this club called like the Gilman, and it was like 924 Gilman Street, and all the like artists that I loved. Like I was like this huge Green Day kid. That was my first band that I was obsessed with when I was in like first grade. And then there were other bands like Operation Ivy, and like there was this huge band called Emily's Army, which is like the son of Green Day.
Emily's Army.
Yeah.
Okay. So you like punk? Do you like 80s punk at all? Like Dead Kennedys, stuff
I want
like
to.
that?
I feel like I just hyperfixate on like a few things that I really love, and like, but there are lots of things that I want to get into. Like I found out about like, I don't know, as soon as I was like, oh, Patti Smith and Robert Mapplethorpe are a thing, and like, I don't know, like Jim Morrison and stuff, I'd be like, oh, yay, cool.
Yeah. So you loved Green Day. Did you get into Blink at all? Because Blink is like one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. Yeah, like their music was all, they went on tour with Green Day once, and I was watching that like YouTube documentary about like them like throwing stuff down the stairs of that like giant mansion with the chandelier up there, and then like there's like a child somewhere, like, one of their kids in a van. I think that was the famous like, can we get a fish? And he's like, oh, not yet, or something video. But yeah.
Okay, so you like very specific punk music.
I guess so.
It sounds like.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any? Because punk shows can get pretty rowdy. Have you ever had any like interesting, crazy experiences at punk shows?
Yeah, like I mean, like it's really easy to get like your foot almost broken or something, or like one time I saw like I looked up and I saw my shoes that I was supposed to be wearing on another girl's feet, and she was like crowd surfing, and I was like, wait, I gave her my shoes, I guess.
So you just gave somebody your shoes?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
That was at the Gilman. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Yeah, I almost hit someone. we were in a car like outside the Gilman, and we were eating macaroni and cheese in the backseat, and then the driver like almost hit like a famous person. I don't know if I should say who it is. With the car as we're eating macaroni and cheese, and he comes over and he goes, "I'm so sorry."
Wait, was the driver was eating macaroni and cheese?
Yeah, we were all kind of doing it.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Well, you got to say who it was. Who's the famous person?
Okay, yeah, it was one of the members of Swimmers. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty crazy. So you almost killed a member of one of your favorite bands because someone was eating macaroni and cheese. Mm-hmm. That's wow, that's interesting. That's not normally. Usually macaroni and cheese kills people like decades later.
Oh my God. Yeah, true.
Let me ask you this: What about emo? Because that was like really my shit.
Oh yeah, like My Chemical Romance and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MCR is my favorite band of all time.
Yeah, they're so good. Like I went and saw them at the Fox Theater in Oakland.
MCR was my first concert. It
Yeah.
was MCR and Blink 182.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw them on the Honda Civic Tour. It was also during Danger Days,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
And I had a broken foot at the time.
Oh.
So I was at the show like with my foot in a like not a cast but like a walking boot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't go be in the pit, and I like
Oh, that sucks.
was from up like in the balcony being like "Hey!"
Okay, so you're a punk kid, but your main shit, at least, professionally, has been theater work. I assume, correct?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, because I know a lot of people that are, in musical theater.
Yeah.
What do you think about the term theater kid? Because it sort of comes and goes in the lexicon. I feel like now it's kind of something you hear a decent amount.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many like there's the trademark theater kid, like you picture like an improv kid or something. Like I don't know, I never felt like I was that, or I probably was because like I was doing that, but like I would like I joined a theater company called like the Young Actors Theater Camp. That's where I met Noah a long time ago. We were like kids together. We were acting in that. So like we were in this play and stuff, and then I was in like drama in high school, and it was like a lot of like the acting sort of stuff. And then all of a sudden there was a musical theater department, and I just started like music directing. All that, like I somehow knew how to just like do the scores and teach them, so I started doing that. And we did I don't know, we did a lot of plays. We did this play called Hell on Earth, which was like an original musical that this guy wrote, that like some people at the Young Actors Theater Camp wrote. And that went to New York. So like it was sort of just like this crazy theater camp that I had been going to my whole life, sort of just let me unleash and be like whatever I wanted that to mean, sort of. So I just started doing whatever that was, like for myself, like directing shows and stuff there. I mean, I just kind of picture like myself as that person that was like in high school. I was a student there, and then I became a teacher there, and that place kind of like shaped, I guess, what the world of theater meant for me specifically.
I was in drama briefly in middle school.
Yeah.
We didn't do a musical. Well, actually, in 7th grade, we just did an improv comedy show for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was pissed because I didn't get cast, even though I was one of the funniest people at tryouts. I mean, I just got to say, I was on the tech crew, which no hate to the tech crew, of course, but I just got to say I should have been cast as one of the cast members in the improv. But for some reason, the director hated me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. His name was actually Andy. I forget his last name. But I would say it if I was like, he was a fucking asshole. He was one of the worst. I don't know why, but a lot of adults that do theater programs for children are some of the worst people in the world.
I've heard some stories, from my friends that like my friend is from like Temecula and talked about like there was some really sketchy stuff going on with that drama teacher, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like sketchy stuff, I'm sure, but even just being a dick. So, Andy, if you ever see this, fuck you.
Oh my God.
Like I said, if I remembered his last name, I would say it as well.
Yeah.
But he worked in Worthington, Ohio in like 07, 08. So, yeah. If you're going to work with them, don't.
Yeah. I mean, my high school drama class was cool. We had this teacher who was great. Her name was like Miss Hartman. She was cool. She had like a fish tattoo somewhere that I could always kind of see. And then she also had this like theater.
Wait, where did she have it?
Like on her stomach, I guess. But I don't know.
That sounded really bad. It's like she had this fish somewhere that I was always seeing it.
Yeah.
It's like Jesus
like a trout
Christ.
Or something, probably. Yeah. And then we had this like one stage where people would do improv scenes, and I did this one improv scene where I threw this girl's phone as a prop, and she got really mad. She was like, "Stop throwing my phone," and I was like, "Oh," and I felt bad, and I got like a few laughs during improv, but it was always kind of scary to me. I had this other way huger theater like in the front of the school that would put on like real actual productions like Cinderella, or like I think they did like Chicago or something at one point, like
Yeah.
real high school theater productions. We did like James and the Giant Peach. Like, it was a nice theater. It was really good. Like, it had the big red curtains and like a balcony, and it was like serious.
So it was for serious thespians.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
like As You Like It, and like I was in so many productions of Peter Pan, and I kept getting cast as the same like leader of the Lost Boys. Like, there was this place called the Firehouse Art Center, and they built it like right when I was in there, and I had the first line. I was the first actor to ever act on that stage.
Oh wow!
Because I played this mom that like died at the beginning of James and the Giant Peach. So my character was like running like, oh no, there's a rhinoceros coming, and then
you just died.
I got like chomped by some rhinoceros, and then that was my dramatic death, and that was the first acting performance in that theater.
Wow.
So yeah,
it's very intimidating, especially musical theater, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, musical theater, like, you have to sing and you have to act and everything at the same time. And I've always been more like, I just have done more directing and writing of musical theater than like performing, for sure. It's just come more naturally to me, so I started just doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I have a pretty good memory, I feel like, but I would just be horrified that I would forget the lines.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're fucked. Like, it's not like a movie. It's not like, a film acting where you can just cut and then, look at it real quick. Like, yeah, people get pissed you're wasting everyone's time, but on stage, like at a performance, if you forget your lines, like, that's it. Like, it's over.
For some reason, I don't remember that happening a ton with the White Rose Run. I have no idea how, like, because there's a lot of stuff. There wasn't any, like, huge dramatic, like, things that happened with the New York show.
I mean, at that stage, you're dealing with professionals. So, I would assume and hope that
they know how to not.
Right. People aren't forgetting their lines on stage, on the day. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I have friends in musical theater, and they always tell me that it's easier than you think, and you get used to having to remember your lines. And it's not, at a certain point, it doesn't really become a concern anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they do it when we're changing the lines up so much too. Like during rehearsal process, there'll be just like so many script changes all the time. Like,
that would be crazy.
Yeah, like rewriting songs. Like, there was one song that got rewritten like the day of, like, or not the day of, like 2 weeks before, which felt kind of practically like the day of. Yeah, like,
oh my god,
that was the Stars on the record. Yeah, so the Stars used to be this duet called This Time that got cut. And
just totally changed to Stars.
It wasn't working at all. We were in rehearsal, and like something about the duet just wasn't landing. Like, the actors were like, this doesn't feel like it's really sensitive enough for how serious of a scene this is, because she's talking about like death and destruction of like that night. And then it was this duet where they were singing about like,
and it was originally like an upbeat jazz number at first.
It was sort of like this thing where they were singing about friendship that they had found with each other. Like, Sophie and that girl Lila were singing about like, oh, now we're friends, which is good that we can have each other to like be friends during this time. But something about it just was not, like, we tried to change it to a minor key, and that just made it worse.
Yeah.
And then we didn't know what to do, and then like I think it was like about to be Christmas Day, and then I just sat in there in rehearsal, and it was me and the choreographer Jordan Ryder, and Brian the writer, and Will the director, and then a couple of the actors, and then I just sort of played this thing on the piano, and then it was like I just sort of went da 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 da, and I went da, and they were like, that we have to do that. I don't know what that is, but that. And then that just became it, and I said, oh, now you have to go write it, and it's due tomorrow. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's fucking, I mean, an analog to that would be, as a performer, a week before Coachella, you're like, hey, let's just write a brand new song and perform it. Yeah, that would just be fucking crazy.
It's weird how like I wasn't afraid during that. I didn't think like, oh no, what if I can't write it? Then there'll be no show. Like, your brain just tells you like, well, that's not an option. Like, there's a show and it's gonna get written. Like,
yeah, I think there's a lot to when people say I work better under pressure, and a lot of artists I feel like are like that. I think that's definitely, there's a lot to that, because like you just said, your brain sort of it doesn't even have time to be afraid,
right?
Because it's like, well, we're going to do it. That's like you just said. That's not an option to just give up and not do it.
Yeah, it's sort of like the show must go on, but like real. Like it's like here it is. So the show is going on. More like
yeah, exactly. The show is happening, so we got to do it. That's fucking wild, though. But you pulled it off. We're going to listen to that track later. Actually, it's a phenomenal song. So it ended up working out.
Yeah, something wild kicked in. It was like I think I was. Not to try to sound like a sad person, because it wasn't sad. I was alone on Christmas in Brian's apartment, and everyone else was gone, like with their families. And my family, it wasn't sad because my family had came all the way out to New York to visit me because they knew I'd be there during Christmas. So they left like on the 24th, like to go back to California. And then on Christmas Day, I had the day to just do it. And like I was journaling in that apartment, like, I wonder if this will be sad for me or if it will just feel different than usual. And I went and I got Chinese food from Chinatown and I just wrote it. And then I had like movies playing on like their TV and like Aperol spritzers that I was constantly pouring for myself. And I was just going into like sometimes when I'm writing a song, I just go into the bathroom and I look into the mirror and I like play the door. Like, here's the door. And I'm just like,
really?
Yeah. So
what?
There was a lot of that happening.
I gotta try that.
Yeah.
That's fucking. Maybe that's a hack.
Yeah.
If you're creative out there, if you're a songwriter,
yeah,
go try to play the bathroom door.
Yeah.
You know, usually musicians just go do coke in the bathroom, but you, you found a new use for bathrooms in music.
It's because you're like, there's one room here and then the other room is out here, so it's sort of like two different places, and then you're kind of in between the two, and you're like sort of at both different angles of the thing that you're trying to see. So like that's how I'm able to like clock it, I guess. I don't know. Like, and then you can literally play it like a drum, and I'll try to like get it out from there or something.
Wow.
But
that I might try something like that. That's interesting.
And me and Brian collaborated on the lyrics a lot too. There was another day where me and him were like, oh, but this and that, and like just kind of talking through the song and the characters' ambitions and thoughts, and but this, she needs to say this, and like, so a lot of it came from like dramaturgy too. So it's not like you can just whip out a theater song from like a door always, but like there's a lot of
you can't just go ripping out songs on a door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so, no, I love it. I love the door method. Maybe you should write a creative book called The Door Method.
Yeah. People think it's the doors, but it's not. It's just the door.
Right. A lot of Jim Morrison fans will buy it. Like, the fuck? This bitch is talking about bathroom doors? The fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God. People would totally buy that though, honestly. So now, did you write the full score, or did you just write the PV?
So I wrote the PV, and then we had Charlie do the orchestrations on the New York show, and then there's this guy, Paul, doing the orchestrations on the London show, and both of them are quite different.
Really?
Yeah, like I would say the orchestrations that Charlie did on the New York show are very like kind of like polished New York. Like he did the music for Some Like It Hot, like the Broadway version, so it sounds very like polished and crisp and like exact. And then the London one is sounding more like punk, like also, that's kind of because we have fewer instruments too by a little bit, so we have more of just like the guitar drums sound, because there's not really like string instruments and like there's no woodwinds anywhere or whatever.
Really?
So it's like now we're just gonna have something that sounds more
so
punk.
it's more of just a pure rock musical now.
It feels more like that a bit. It feels more like, and even some of the chord changes, like I was talking to Paul, the new orchestrator for the London show, and he's like, well, we should probably add these chords here. And I'd be like, oh, that sounds more like a Green Day record. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, like we're onto something. And he'd put just kind of more interesting, like da 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 da, like kind of chromatic steps. So like not doing the like, so like less pop figures and more just kind of like the Green Day like espionage sort of feel.
The James Bond-ish kind of
a little bit
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just kind of using those different chords to beef up that, since we have like just a few instruments in the orchestration. And
I really liked the I really liked the score for the
Yeah.
New York run.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. It's so polished and lovely. And we had the most incredible musicians. We had Sheila doing like all of the piano and conducting and like arranging the score and like revoicing some chords. And then we had like this drummer named Skylar who's like awesome. And we just had like, you know, access to a really beautiful studio that Charlie was able to get. You know, because he went to Berkeley for music, and like he's really, really, really talented and really cool, and just like has a really sharp mind for like making the sound so big and so cool and just come to life.
Okay, so you're a musical theater person.
Yeah.
Musical theater people, you know, sort of have the reputation of being very earnest, very honest, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So let's see how good of a liar you are.
Okay, yeah.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't have a name for this game yet because I'm lazy and I didn't think of one. Basically, it's sort of like inverse two truths and a lie. We're going to each give 3 music opinions, hot takes, and only one of which we actually believe. And the other person is going to ask questions and see if they can figure out which of those 3 hot takes that you actually believe and which other 2 are obviously not true. Like either you just don't care or you might even feel the opposite if you want to really get fancy with it.
Yeah.
So I'll start.
Okay.
How about that? Okay. So my 3 takes are that Radiohead is overrated. The groove or the beat of a song is more important than the melody. And Freddie Mercury is an overrated vocalist.
Okay, wait, can you say them again? I already forgot what they were.
Okay, Radiohead is overrated.
Okay.
The groove of a song is more important than melody.
Uh-huh.
Or that Freddie Mercury is an overrated vocalist. So one of these I really believe. And the other 2 I don't believe. So you can ask me any questions and try to... And
try to figure it out.
Yeah, and obviously I'm going to try to, you know, lie and...
Yeah. Okay, so have you ever seen Radiohead live?
I have, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Oh, my God. Did you like it? Oh my God. Oh fuck. You know, it was okay.
All right.
It was okay.
What's your favorite Radiohead album?
Oh, I would probably say OK Computer.
Hell yeah. I like the one with that guy's head on it that has Just. That's good.
Which one?
What's it called again? The one that has Just on the record, and it's that dude's head. Oh, the Benz.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever written a song?
Have I ever written the song?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Which came first? Which part of the song came first?
I made electronic music.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I started off as a DJ. So I would actually start with the drums usually.
Oh, okay, yeah. You like to dance?
I guess you could say so.
Okay, cool. What's your favorite Queen song?
I don't really have a favorite Queen song, to be honest. But I guess I would have to say Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like it's Freddie Mercury's not that good. I'm just going to be honest.
I feel like I should probably try to make a guess.
Let's see. What are you feeling?
Maybe that you think the one about the groove and the melody, like that's the true one.
All right. Are you sticking with that?
Yeah.
It's not. Radiohead is overrated is my real take.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I do not really care for Radiohead, to be honest. So I'm sure I'm going to get massacred in the comments, but sorry.
Yeah. They're pretty good. They're not they're not in my. I guess I listened to them a lot in high school, and then I've never seen them live.
I do for real like OK Computer. That was true.
Yeah.
They obviously have really. I think Tom is a great songwriter, but I just don't really get the worship of them, I should say.
Oh yeah.
So when I say, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying they're overrated. Like people are like, oh, they're one of the best bands ever. I don't necessarily think that's true.
Yeah.
But no, I think the melody is way more important than the groove of a song.
Yeah.
That's what people remember.
Yeah, yeah. I think both equally. Like if that was one of my questions, I would say that's like literally the two things that I spent the most time on. And now I'm like, wait, what if that's the only two things that a song are?
I mean, the lyrics, the meaning, but I mean, I guess musically.
In Sibelius, that's the only two things. In a PV in Sibelius, you have the left hand on the bass clef on the piano, and you have the singer's line, and that's it.
But, and also I almost threw up saying Freddie Mercury is not that great.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Mercury I think he's the best male vocalist ever.
Yeah, so good.
He's amazing.
Yeah, there's always Queen music videos playing at the music studio that I teach at, like on these TVs. So it'll show like, their performances from all these concerts that they did, like Live Aid and stuff.
Who knows if this is true, but an anecdote about Freddie is apparently, how you double track vocals to get a fuller sound? Apparently his vocal takes would be so similar that they would phase.
Oh.
Because he was so consistent.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, he was just a freak. I mean, like I said, I think he was the best male vocalist ever.
Yeah, didn't they all meet in opera school? And then they were like, fuck opera school, man. And then the Queen happened.
Yeah, I mean, he's just phenomenal. So rest in peace, Freddie. I hope you weren't listening to the fake bad things I was saying about you.
Ghost.
The ghost of Freddie Mercury. Please don't haunt me, Freddie. Okay, did you prepare?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
I have to get my list. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries.
So, all right.
Let's see here. So, one of these you actually believe, and two of them you don't. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, one of them is that the concept from Ratatouille, anyone can cook, is totally wrong, and not anyone can do it. And this applies to music. Like anyone can do it. Like, that's not true. Like, not anyone can.
Okay.
Then, some people think that, like, there are certain Green Day albums that are, like, worse than other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Or other ones that are far above and beyond certain ones. But, like, there aren't any that are, like, better or worse, actually.
They're all the same. Okay.
Then
that one's a lie. I can tell by your body language.
There's going to a concert is way better than listening to the record.
I feel like this is... So, number 2 is definitely a lie, because I could tell by just the way you said it. I could tell you didn't really believe it. Okay, so we have not anybody can do music. We have basically all Green Day albums are the same quality. And then we have... What was the third one? I just shit on you for not remembering them, and now I don't remember the third one.
Going to a concert is way better than listening to the
live
record.
Music is better. Okay. How many concerts have you been to in your life?
12 maybe? No, more.
12 concerts. That's not many for someone who believes that live music is better. Let me ask you this. Do you believe creativity is genetic?
I guess it kind of feels like it is sort of like something of the mind, and like a lot of stuff of the mind is sometimes inherited, but it's hard to say if that's like biologically genetic or if that's just from being around the person who raised you,
Mm-hmm.
So like even if you're not talking about like doing art, like if you're just thinking about like personality stuff or like mental health stuff or whatever, like kind of similar,
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Okay. And Green Day is your favorite band ever, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, I think I'm going to go against my initial instincts. I'm going to say I think you actually believe... No, you don't seem like the type that believes that... You seem... Because you're a teacher, you definitely can't believe that not everybody can do music. I'm gonna say that you really believe. I'm gonna say you really believe the last one. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's not true.
Oh, really? Which one do you really believe?
Do you want to guess out of the other two?
Well, it's got to be the Green Day one then.
That one was the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh my God. I almost at the last second went against my initial instincts.
Yeah.
But I thought you were gonna. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a really tricky one because there's a lot to believe within that in general. But yeah.
Because I was like, she's a teacher. There's no way she believes that not everybody can do music.
Be like, get out.
Right? Yeah. You would do like an ability test, and then be like, oh well, you're useless. So get the fuck out of here.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah. I do believe that anyone can do it.
Okay.
Definitely. Obviously, that doesn't mean that anybody can try to do it without working at it. If you try to do anything, you have to work at it and commit yourself.
Yeah.
And then I have no opinion about going to a concert being better than live music or being better than listening to the record at home. Both are completely different and unique experiences. Those are both amazing things. And then as for the Green Day thing, I just am so in love with all of their records so much and think that each one is its own masterpiece in its own right. So if people are saying Father of All isn't good because it's not produced by Butch Vig or whatever, who cares? They made it something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun. I'll definitely do that game again. That was a good time. So the main reason you're here and your big project going on is you wrote the music for the show White Rose that is going to be opening. It already ran in New York, and it's going to be running off the West End in London here in just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, how does that feel?
Oh, it's really crazy. It's really fun. I mean, it sort of feels like we've already done this before, and now it's just going to be different. And it's really exciting. I've seen the cast do their performances of it so far and the rehearsal tapes and stuff. And I just I literally cannot wait at this point.
Yeah.
There was a lot of figuring out details and stuff before, but now it's just super exciting to get to see and
That's
get to
awesome.
go and bring Noah and bring my family and have us just go watch it.
So White Rose, it's a true story. It's based on a true story about a girl named Sophie Scholl, right?
Yeah.
She was an activist. Was that her real name?
Yeah, it was her real name.
Yeah. She was an activist in Nazi Germany.
Uh-huh.
And her and some other activists, friends of hers, basically distributed this anti-propaganda against the Third Reich, and they were ultimately killed for it.
Yeah, spoiler alert, huge death. It happened. The guillotine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, they literally guillotined them?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I didn't know the Nazis used the guillotine.
Yeah. I mean, Brian, the writer of the script, is really, really, he was a history teacher of this subject matter for 20 years.
Wow.
So he knows this, at its core. He
Damn.
just really, really, really knows it. And, I didn't go into it knowing this. I was just I'm a songwriter. I really like music. Let me Elton Bernie this thing for you. And he was like, oh, should I really let somebody touch this? I was like, yeah, I can, yeah.
Yeah.
And he really he loves these characters, and it's really important. And it's unfortunately kind of similar to what's going on now, you could say.
Right. And so that was one of the points I wanted to ask you about, but so we'll just get into it now. Were you sort of thinking about sort of the modern day while you were writing these songs? Was that a heavy inspiration? Did you use your anxiety about what's happening now? Was that a factor in how you approached writing this?
I think subconsciously, yeah. I think because I'm alive in this society and it's happening. This stuff is going on. So I think me trying to write from the character's perspective, I understand the intensity of the feeling to a certain degree because of what it feels like to be alive at all during something like that.
Of course.
So when this girl is singing about where's my family, I'm okay, let me try to I haven't lived through that exact same thing, but let's bring that from the character's point of view. The more we kept writing the show, the more people would see the show and notice that and be like, yeah, there's parallels here. Like, it's really reflective of just my experience or whatever. Like, people see that in the show and think it's important. And that's what's kind of cool about it. Yeah, is that like you can just watch it from these specific characters' storyline and just interpret.
Yeah, you can kind of, in a way, insert yourself into it and sort of think about, what I do in this kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were young, like they were college kids. So like I was writing the show during COVID, so I'd only been out of college for like a couple of years at that time. So
Okay.
It's like, okay,
So
I kind
like
of recently
27?
Yeah, like I turned 30 like this year, and then at that time I
okay.
was like 25, 26, like
Yeah.
writing all these songs and like I mean still writing more of them like just only a year ago, but
Right,
like,
yeah.
or
yeah.
writing some of them like
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
like just understanding what that feels like, I guess, to be like I don't know how to understand, but I'm like living in it and I'm right in the middle of it, and what are we going to do about just any issue, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I listened to, as I said earlier, I listened to the full show, and yeah, it's like it was almost kind of haunting how myself have had some of the same thoughts that these characters, which of course are based on real people, were expressing, and my friends and have expressed similar things. So yeah, it's definitely something that hits you when you listen to this show.
Like they expect there to be like a hopeful element towards the beginning of the show, but it just gets more and more less hopeful as it goes on towards the end of the show.
But I think in a way it is kind of hopeful,
Yeah.
because although obviously the characters don't make it, but the bad guys lost in the end.
Yeah.
Unfortunately they didn't get to live to see it, but
that was kind of the point of the closing number, "We Will Not Be Silent," was like, okay, physically these people were dead, but it was their voices, like they sang, the song came sung by those characters after the death in the storyline in the show.
yeah.
So they're singing that.
Actually, let's go ahead and play that. I was going to I think that's one of the standout.
Yeah,
so
I love that song.
I've been singing it like all day.
Oh my god.
Yeah, literally. Honestly, we might just play like this whole song.
Yeah.
But obviously we can sort of interject here. Let's see. Oh yeah, like the soft piano and like the chimes in the background.
Yeah.
So good. It's like very somber.
Yeah, there's Joanne, yeah.
Her voice is crazy.
Find your own way to fight. A paintbrush, a pen. Find ways to create nature and beauty. Let art conquer hate.
Let art conquer hate. That's good.
Freedom, honor.
Did you write the lyrics as well?
Brian wrote the lyrics.
Okay.
And then there was some collaboration on the lyrics, but it's interesting. Like that was part of why the Alton Birdie thing came up, because he was like,
Yeah.
I wrote all these songs and we need to like do something with that, but I'm not a musician. Like what
Yeah.
is happening?
Yeah. I was just curious about that. So you collaborated on the lyrics
A little bit, yeah. We would meet over Zoom and we'd talk, and I'd be in my best friend's grandparents' house and he'd be in his like backyard at home in California, and we'd just play them and sing them through and like just keep sort of just combing over them. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna play some more of this.
Memory of my past, I proudly fought for liberty till my heart beat its last.
Don't ever let fear control how you think. Fight lies with the truth. Use our blood as your ink.
I love this crescendo here. And then sort of a fake out into like, a bit more of a build up.
This was so fun to arrange, yeah.
This chorus is so good. Just tremendous work. I mean, truly. Like I said, I'm not just saying this because you're on the, like I've been like singing this to myself all day.
Oh my god, that's
like
amazing.
That chorus is just it's so good. Like I feel like that arrangement, it has a name, like the like dun dun dun. Is that like a descent? Like what is that called?
Yeah, that's like I guess it's just kind of jumping from one chord, but like playing some other notes on the way to the next thing.
Is it descending?
Yeah,
descending
walk
fifths?
down.
Yeah,
you could say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's really the bass note that changes.
I noticed that you quite like that. You've used that in several, and it works. It's one of those tricks that like always sounds so good. And yeah, it's in a few of the other songs as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in like that sheep one too, because that was all about the left hand for me. That one.
Yeah, the sheep. Let's play that one too.
Yeah.
What I saw at the rallies.
That's the thing about like musical theater songs. A lot of them, they always start soft and kind of
before they go crazy.
Yeah, before they get to fucking bussin'. I did just say that. We're gonna clip it.
Discipline,
order. That's another thing that musical. I don't. Maybe I should be laughing about a musical about Nazi Germany, but
we always did every day. I mean, the things that people did by the time it was Tech Week. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. There's like a musical theater pronunciation.
Yeah.
And it's like very like order.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It always.
I feel like
always
Nick
tickles.
Rouleau, the guy from the Book of Mormon, did that the most on a lot of these songs for us. And he isn't on this record, but he was there for a lot of the workshops before, and he did that a lot. Definitely.
Yeah. I just always think that's funny, like when they do the very theatrical, over pronunciation.
I mean, they have to. Like if he's in that show, like he has to be like, I believe. Like every day.
Yeah, I guess that's true because you kind of have to.
Cannot just believe part way. It's that. Like...
Yeah, because I guess you have to enunciate your voices. That's it for the most part. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some compression on the the live mixing, but you really have to like make sure because the lyrics are way more important in musical theater.
Yeah,
so you have to make sure that like you enunciate every single syllable.
Yeah. Oh my god, the lyrics are just such a huge big deal to this story, and especially like working with Brian. Every time I changed anything, he'd be like, "Oh, but even just changing the to but." Changes the meaning of this whole thing. Yeah. Like it was always like that with everything. Well, it's interesting because like with musical theater, there's a writer and then a different actor sings it or performs it. Yeah. But if you're like a music artist and you write your song and you perform it yourself, then it is just how you want it to be.
Right. Whereas musical theater, well, like you said, A, someone else is performing it, and B, it's like it has to convey the story properly. Yeah. It can't. You don't really have that license to be sort of vague like you do writing, for recorded or popular music, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like it feels like when the actors are singing, like it is me, kind of, because like it's like, oh yeah, that's the song, but it feels like this thing that everybody can embody, I guess, sort of.
That does have to be a weird feeling. Yeah. Like seeing other people perform.
It feels like it's like an organ or something, or like a body part, like the song. Like it's like a thing that we share. It's weird because I'm seeing people like this guy Tobias is playing Hans, and like this girl Colette is playing Sophie, and it kind of makes me feel like I already know them. It makes me feel not weird about like sharing them on social media or whatever, because it's like, oh, we already know each other through this thing, and maybe they feel the same about like me as the writer of the thing they're doing every day. But like it's weird when it's a whole show when you're in the audience and there's a whole audience sitting around you and you wrote it. It's like weird. It's really thrilling. It's humiliating. Like you're just watching the whole audience's faces the whole time. I mean, maybe I'll get over that at some point.
I would kind of feel like a god. You know what I mean? Does part of you like if they all stand up? Like, have you gotten a standing ovation?
Oh yeah.
Like, what did that feel like?
I mean,
that had to be crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it really, really is crazy. It's just like.
Did you get like a rush from it?
I think at closing night, it was definitely the biggest thing. Yeah. And like I think it got less scary as the run went on. Like it was more scary to get that because it meant like, oh, there's a lot of attention on this. Like people are going to be talking about this. Like,
yeah. What was the first show like?
I mean, we had some previews, then we had our big opening. And that was kind of insane. I mean, to be fair, though, like I went to the hospital for food poisoning that same 24-hour period. So
Jesus.
like I was kind of like not in my right mind because of that.
So you were
like,
delirious
I went
on
from
food poisoning?
the ER to the hair salon to the dress to the premiere.
Oh my
God. And
God.
like 4 people knew that like I was in the ER, like the director and my mom who was there with me and my brother. And my brother saw a preview the night before and he came rushing into the hospital room and he was like, Natalie, it was so good. It sounded just like Green Day. And the girl in the hospital bed next to me was like, what the fuck is going on? Huh?
Like this family is fucking insane.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, like it was incredible. Like just, I couldn't help but think like, oh, this is supposed to be like this is a really sad story. And right now we're all dressed up and like it's the importance of it, like it sort of always felt like I was like, how can this really, like the meaning of this really be conveyed? But I mean, you kind of have to let go of it at some point.
Sure.
Like I had to learn how to let go of the control because you're not on your laptop in your room with a quesadilla anymore. Like it's there and other people have their opinions no matter what you do or how much you change it or so yeah. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's
you feel every feeling possible, every single one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just got to be wild.
I kept telling people it feels like having a kid, even though I've never had a kid, but I just assumed that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, there it is out in the world, but it's mine, but it's not, but it's a separate thing now. What? Like, it's definitely
that's
like.
That's a good, yeah.
It's like, don't fall on your head. Like, don't be hated by everyone, but also good. Yay, I love this. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It would be that's actually a good point. It is a weird way, like having a child, because it's a separate thing. Because when you write music for yourself or that you're going to perform, I feel like your relationship with it's a bit different.
Yeah. And it was weird getting written about in the press and stuff, having like scathing things written about me and really wonderful things written about me. Like
really, people wrote scathing reviews.
Oh yeah, people like said like
what would they say?
They would say like it's so obvious because her music is so bad that all the really, really, really good songs were clearly not written by her. And I'm like, oh, so you thought some songs were really good though, right? Like,
wait, what? Why did they?
I don't even know.
Fuck?
People will just say stuff. People are trolls.
Who are they? Let's name them.
I forget her name, but I heard she's like kind of a mean girl. I don't know. Like it's just crazy because it puts you in this category of life experience where you're starting to experience that for the first time. And even though it isn't like fame, like Lady Gaga fame or something, it's like, oh, there's something that I did that goes beyond just me and my day-to-day life. Like there's something that people are taking note of it to a point where they feel like they can just say whatever it is, their opinion about it. And especially because of the subject matter. It's like, it goes beyond me now. Like it's just
it's something that's going to attract a lot of attention. And a lot of opinions because of the subject matter.
Yeah, definitely. And people really feel like, oh, well, like my opinion of this is my opinion because of the subject matter, definitely. And at the time I was just listening to Fancy Sauce from Saviors over and over and over again, pacing the theater. I would listen to that and pace outside the theater every day before I would go see the show. And like there's a line that's like, I'm so famous, you're the one that's famous, everybody's famous, stupid and contagious. And it references that Nirvana song. And it was just like,
that Nirvana song.
Yeah.
Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one song.
Yeah. It just felt like a really crazy place to be at for a couple months, definitely.
So now let me ask you this. Is there a chance that this will go to Broadway?
I have no idea. You never know anything. I didn't know if this was going to London for so long, and people kept saying, we're trying to make it go to London, and I'd be like, okay. And it really comes down to like management and like if you can get like another round of like investors that are like, yeah, we want to do it. So like it really has to do with like not necessarily how good your show is, but like if there is a team of people, if like some people won't stop, then it just keeps going.
And so like, now if that happened, would you like be a millionaire?
I don't even know, dude. Like I feel like theater can't, like it's hard for theater to make people a lot of money because like the shows themselves cost so much money to keep putting on.
Yeah.
But it does create a lot of opportunities and like good things,
having a hit or something that even makes it to Broadway, obviously you're going to get more work.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey,
that.
Look at the, they'd be
Yeah.
oh.
I mean, now, making it to, off West End is, that's still a huge achievement.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's definitely weird. It's like, okay, like, it's weird to, like, not know what, like, the next time frame of my life looks like beyond this. And it's weird because, like, a couple years ago, I had no idea that this would happen. So, like, I remind myself of that all the time. Like, there was a time, like, 10 years ago when I didn't know that White Rose was a thing at all. And now here it is. So, like, anything can keep happening every day.
First off, let's play The Stars, which is another one of the standout tracks. And that was the Chinese food song, right? The song that you wrote with basically 2 weeks to go on Chinese food. So let's take a listen to that.
My king, in the hush of the night.
This does sound very almost like old Broadway. Not like old, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So crazy. Her voice is fucking wild.
I know, Laura Skye.
Oh my god.
Her name's Laura Skye, and it's The Stars.
Yeah, Laura Skye, The Stars.
Yeah.
That's just the piano is. Did you play the piano in the show or no?
No, Sheila did, but
right.
I came up with the parts and the PV and the melody and everything.
Yeah. So that
here.
Yeah. That's just, it's fucking awesome. There's not a lot to say. That's another one that's been stuck in my head for, the music to this show. I'm kind of sad actually that they're changing the score.
I know. Yeah. It's different. Like, I have to kind of make amends with that too. I'm like, oh, it's going to be different. I have to accept the differences. Well, yeah, we have a lot of changes that are exciting. I mean, like that song I Don't Care, that was just a solo where that dude's like, got into trouble a long time ago when we were boys, and he sings the whole thing by himself and then has a mental breakdown eventually.
Yeah.
Like, that is now this like group number where they're all singing and there's harmonies, and it's like even scarier because like there's this vocal layering part where they're all like, don't care what they don't care what they don't care what they do, and then they like bring back like another harmony to get him into his mental breakdown, and it really just like makes it more real, I guess.
I want to ask about something very specific. Well, I want to ask about two things very specifically. I'm going to play We Will Not Be Silent again, the ending track, which is probably my favorite. So these lines right here, are those things that she actually said, the real person, or
that Sophie said?
Don't ever let fear control how you think. I'm sure they didn't rhyme, of course, but that would be kind of crazy if she
I can't remember if Sophie said that. Maybe she did. It sounds like something she would have said. I mean, Brian got really good at sort of crafting these things, and like there were a lot of stuff that was. The short answer is I can't remember if Sophie actually said all of that in that order, or if that was taken from a poet from that time period. Because that time period, all these people, all these German kids that lived in that time period loved poems. So they loved like Rilke, and they loved Heine and all these poets that wrote lyrical poems.
Yeah.
So a lot of the lyrics are like either direct interpretations or like pulled from that, or there's quotes, or so like some of them, like Brian is like the encyclopedia of knowledge of like which thing is which thing and like which character did which thing. Like They're Here Now, sung by Hans the brother, was actually a poem called it was like they'll come for him and then they'll come for the next person and then they'll come for me. What are you going to do when they come for you?
Yeah.
About the Nazis coming to like, oh, like they came for this other person that's not me.
Right.
But
Well,
then eventually they come for you.
Right. Yeah. And there was no one left to. Is it that poem?
Yeah.
And then there was no one left to speak for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was actually written during
Yeah.
the time of Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen people posting it now on Instagram, like not even
Yeah.
White Rose fans, like people will post it just as a response to what's happening now.
I think that line specifically is very powerful.
Yeah.
Use our blood as your ink.
Yeah.
So, basically saying sort of use their words and like what they did
Yeah.
as, to fight,
Yeah.
things in the future.
Yeah. And I mean, like the song is sung like right when they were killed, like guillotined, and then that's what the writing and everything, like their whole trajectory was to write. So then
Yeah.
it's like, then this was written, then writing keeps happening. That's sort of the whole point of the show, is like the
Yeah.
message keeps going no matter what. Like, oh, you're killed, it keeps going, because it can't not.
And you know what? So there's a song called "Who Cares," which is right before
Yeah.
that. And they're about to be killed, and they're sort of asking, well, will anyone care about this?
Right.
And it was very moving to me, because I think that they probably did really feel that, and it's so cool to me that like now, because I mean obviously even before this musical, but now people for sure care about them and they know what they did.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so fucking cool.
Yeah. And like that song has like a cool trajectory to it too, because they start in kind of like this apathetic, well, who cares? Does anybody care what we did here?
Well, let's play it. Why not?
We've always known it could end like this.
Everything to say to you, but nothing left to say.
Some people don't even talk to their sister when they grow up. And here we are, dying together. It's kind of sweet. Everything to say to you, but nothing left to say.
Do you regret any of it?
My only regret is letting my little sister get
Stop.
involved.
You know you couldn't have stopped me, even if you tried, and you did try.
You did try.
Everything to say to you, but nothing left to say.
Here we are at the end.
Who cares?
What if no one cares?
Well, if that's true, then I'm glad we're leaving.
Really, who cares?
They're just a
But if I'm not, why don't they care?
They care too much for themselves.
Will they care what we tried to do? Really, who cares?
I don't think that we'll ever really know the answer to the question. Who cares?
We couldn't change the world,
But I'm proud that we tried.
who cares?
Really, who cares?
Will anyone care that we lived?
Will anyone care that we died? Who cares?
Really, who
I
cares?
know the answer already. Someone's there.
Someone who helped you become who you needed to be. Someone protects you.
Someone who always protects you and helps you be free. I don't think that we'll ever really know the answer to the question. I don't think that we'll ever
It's so good. I'm just gonna let the whole thing play.
really know the answer to the question.
Someone who pushed you, helped you become who you needed to be.
Someone who always protects you, protects me.
Damn. Yeah, it's just so. Yeah.
I mean, the thing to me about it is like they finally realize that, but it's like too late.
Yeah.
And like there's only so much time in the world, you know, and like what can you do with that knowledge, and like the inherent tragedy, but also the inherent like how wonderful that is, and just the weird coexistence of that, and there being just, okay, well, that's what that is then.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's a very bittersweet moment,
Yeah.
you know, and just, and yeah, realizing it, but that it's almost too late in a way.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, yeah, that song, yeah, in the car, like when I was listening to it again on the way over here, it made me tear up because it's just so, you know, it's because, yeah, like I said, I'm sure they did feel that way, and then, you know, but
Yeah.
now people do, they definitely fucking care, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah, I have a brother, and I mean,
Yeah.
so that perspective was like accessible to me, you know.
right. And you know, when I sort of think about this stuff, and in a way, it's kind of, and I really wish that they could have known, and even with what's going on now, Hitler died like a bitch, scared in a bunker,
Uh-huh.
you know, and like I really wish that they could have known that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like what they did, they won in the end.
Yeah.
You know, like everything that he tried to build collapsed. And, you know, he was like, well, the Russians are going to torture me to death if they capture me. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, you know, they went out, they got to go out brave with their head held high. And Hitler, like I said, he died like a pussy in a bunker.
Yeah.
And I just think that's, you know, I just wish they could have. It's very poetic in a way, and I just wish they could have known that. You know.
I know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, doing this work kind of feels like we're telling them that, but like in a weird way, I guess that might be like a weird fantasy or something. But
No, I mean, you know, I think it's because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, activists, and I'm sure, and even just, you know, lay people, anybody, you know, you want to know, you know, we're all a bit, you know, I don't want to say narcissistic, but we all want to believe that, you know, we have made a difference in the world, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a natural human thing, and especially if you're, you know, doing something that important, you know, you want to know that, because there's always a party that's like, well, maybe this is all going to be for nothing.
Yeah.
But, you know, it wasn't.
right.
You know,
and like,
and
I
yeah.
love that gets to be where the beauty lies, that like you could look at the script and say like, wait, so it's just about like their idea behind it. That's all the story is about. Like, it's not about anything else but how they wanted to do something and then they couldn't. And it's just about that. Like, but that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. And like, we're reworking a scene that used to have this big, huge song and dance and used to have like a big arrest and everything. And now it's more stripped down and it's just them having a conversation, but it's more powerful and it's more of an effective scene because there's
Right,
less
'cause
there.
it's more real.
Because it's just
Yeah.
about, well, you don't want to do this with us? Why? Oh, like it's just that idea of
Yeah.
like change needs to happen. And I think, yeah, that gets to be sort of like the meat of it, like after having been with it for all this time now in the next one, and even just talking about it and thinking about it and stuff.
I mean, it's, you know, we gotta wrap up here soon, but it's just tremendous. I mean, truly, you know, you should be so proud of yourself. It's an incredible piece of work. You know, I really do truly believe this. I think this is going to end up changing your life. Seriously, I really do. I think this is just tremendous. So if you're listening, please go. You know, if you're in London, you've unfortunately already missed the New York shows, but if you're in London, go see White Rose. What's the area that it's?
Marylebone.
She doesn't even know what it's called.
Marylebone. I just don't know how to pronounce it. I know how to spell it.
Yeah. Well, like I said at the top, the British, you know, they have fake words.
Yeah.
if you live in London and the Marlborough or whatever the
Marylebone Theatre.
Yeah, whatever the Melbourne, whatever the fuck it's
Opening
called.
night, March 5th.
Yeah, opening night, March 5th.
Get your tickets.
Go watch it and go listen to this album. It's just White Rose, the musical. We'll obviously put the links in the description. I just implore you, listen to the show. Even if you're not a musical person, I think the songs are so good that, even if you don't like musical theater, you're going to enjoy just listening to it just like it's a record. It's just tremendous. Congratulations. You enjoy all the success and all the good reviews. And if you gave it a bad review, go fuck yourself. Natalie, thanks so much for coming to the Test Press.
Thanks for having me.
This was so much fun.
This was awesome.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. That was good.